be doing his icebreaker. So please help me welcome Rick.
Do we have a time on that? Or so my name is Rick Oldhammer, and this is a very small thing to hide in back of. I'd like to be a little taller. And I actually joined Toastmasters in Los Angeles. I gave a couple speeches. They were actually joined 2, and I gave an icebreaker in each one. So I was only in there for a couple of months, but they both had a nice big lectern. You were able to just hide right behind it and didn't have to, move around. You go, you use your body language and eye contact and everything like that, but it was a place to hide, which is the way I looked at it. So I don't have that here, which I guess is fortunate that I'm break out of my shell a little more. So I came from Los Angeles. I worked for a company for about 7 years there, and we produced trade shows, conventions, corporate events. I held a few different positions there, but I ended with a sales position, selling conventions to associations. So that was for a very brief time, about a year, and it was going well, but I wasn't satisfied. Majority of my family is in Los Angeles, or in California, and recently married. My wife's family is also from there. So this opportunity had come up, and it's another sales position, and it's selling medical devices for carpal tunnel release, cubital tunnel release, and they had given me 3 options if I got the job, where to move: Chicago, Philadelphia, or Florida. And right away, I ruled out Philadelphia. Never been there, but I just figured, I didn't feel like I was going to fit there. For some reason, I just ruled it out right away. Florida was on my wife and my list, and I was starting to look around, but we're from the big city, so I wanted a big city, something happening. Not that Florida doesn't have that. Orlando, Tampa, great beaches. It just wasn't. I felt like Florida was a destination place. And I think my wife did as well. She's into fashion and interior design and things like that, so I figured this was also a better fit. There was established accounts here for what I'm trying to do, which made it also a little easier to make this decision. Everyone had told us moving to Chicago was probably the worst thing that we can do, because we're from California. Moving here to the cold winters and the really hot summers. To me, it didn't really bother me, but my wife was pretty much against it. So I dragged her here. We loaded up the car. Couldn't see out the rearview mirror. We had stuff on the dash. We drove out here for about 3 days. And we got here the day before the big storm. We moved in February 1st. So the big storm hit February 2nd, I believe. And we had never, the most snow that I had seen was to travel about an hour to go snowboarding for a day and come back. In the snow, it was probably about 70 degrees. Sunny, people wearing t-shirts on the slopes. So we move here, we get in, our deck is covered with snow, and my wife's looking at me like, what the hell? What the hell did you drag me here for? And it was actually gave us a great excuse to get the apartment together before I actually had to get out there and start my job. So that was the first week. The few weeks after that, I was out training, doing my thing, and I finally, this past 3 weeks, was able to get out there and start my job. So, it's been going good. It's a very slow process. You're selling to doctors. Not only are you selling to doctors, you're selling to surgery centers and hospitals. And it's definitely a slow process, but once you get an initial sale, it's a good sale. It's a how do you say, it's residual for every case you get commission off of. And another thing regarding this job, it's solely commission. I had never done that before. I've always been used to a salary. So to go from a salary to sole commission, a new state, basically a new life was, for me, it's an adventure. For my wife was, it's very hard. So we're basically here trying to get acclimated, and I think, you know, as time goes on, I'm gonna get her on board with what we're trying to do here and make it as successful as possible. So what I plan to achieve, you know, is actually why I'm here in Toastmasters, is to gain more confidence speaking in front of people. Obviously, in my job, it's more one-on-one, but I'd love to get into group presentations and being confident enough to get up here and give presentations in front of doctors, you know, or whatever I need to do, even in front of, you know, my company. So this is a great experience and a great opportunity to be able to gain those skills that I need. And aside from that, I'm happy to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Our second speaker is going to be Stefania Almucino. The title of her speech is social media business is going to be trial.